Welcome to a new vlog. You're joining me on a cozy, cloudy Sunday afternoon. I'm actually experiencing a little bit of a dopamine hit right now because I have spent the morning pottering in the most productive way. Do you ever have these moments where you are just suddenly so motivated to clear out or tidy out or clean a certain area, cupboard, part of your house? Well, I have been experiencing that for the last 4 hours. Yeah, I think it's because it's been drizzly outside, so nothing has made me want to go out into the garden. The garden is my biggest distraction, for sure. So I would have filmed it, but it was not very streamlined. I just saw a cupboard and I organized it. I saw a drawer and I cleared it out. It has been so productive and I'm feeling the dopamine hit that you get when you clear some things out. So I have got bags that I need to take to a charity shop with just like old, you know, there's those things in your house that have just always been there, like mugs or like a pair of trainers or like pairs of slippers that you haven't actually used for maybe even years, but because they're just always there, you don't get rid of them. Well, I got rid of them. I got rid of them this morning and it feels really good. It feels so good. I feel cleansed. So here we are in the kitchen. I'm on a bit of a time crunch because Charlie has told me that in an hour he's going to be taking over to do a Sunday roast. I will not complain at that, absolutely not. I did the Sunday roast last week. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Charlie is definitely head chef in this house. Last week it was the first Sunday roast of the entire year, so both Charlie and I are very out of practice, but we're going to have nice, easy roast chicken, roast potatoes, honey glazed carrots. Oh, I cannot wait. Anyway, this is... Okay, you guys know that I get obsessed with things. My obsessions so far this year have included making herbal, like dried tea mixes, air frying, what else? Broccoli sprouts, making veg stock. You know, there are just these wholesome things, wholesome kind of homemakery things that I try them and then I want to become the expert in them and I just go down a real rabbit hole. One thing that actually all of those things that I've just mentioned have in common is not wanting anything to go to waste. So for example, my veg stock is when I keep like the ends of a chopped up onion or like the bottom of a leek or the bottom of a celery. I put them in a freezer bag and then I add them with boiling water, simmer them down and make a veg stock. It's essentially free. An amazing base for soups, pasta dishes and things like that, using up things which otherwise would have gone in the bin. At this time of year, we have got so much in the garden, like courgettes, tomatoes, apples and pears are now fully in season, and herbs. All of those things, I always think it's kind of annoying that you really want to use them, especially things like herbs, in autumn and winter through your casseroles and your stews and your roasts, but they're gone. Or it's so rainy that you don't want to go out into the garden. So that is why my new toy and potentially my new obsession, this is a dehydrator. I'm sure lots of you would have predicted that I would have ended up getting one of these, and I did do a lot of research. And there are a lot of options out there. Some air fryers allow you to dehydrate, but mine doesn't. And you can use your 𝑭𝒂𝒕 to slowly dehydrate things, but I've tried that. And to be honest, our 𝑭𝒂𝒕 is too hot to do that, so things just burn. So I thought because of the amount of things we've got in the garden that I really want to preserve throughout autumn and winter, and also some things like elderberries, for example, they actually get better and more nutritious when they're dehydrated. So this is the one that I settled for. I will leave this exact one linked in the description box down below. I decided as a beginner not to get a crazy expensive one. I'll see how much I use it, but it's got loads of layers, as you can see, and it seems to be really easy to use based on the reviews that I've read. So I thought we would start with the baby steps of dehydrating some herbs including mint and lemon balm. I love a mint tea, especially after a big meal, after a Sunday roast. Actually, last night, Charlie and I went to a new restaurant in our town. It was a really lovely fine dining Italian restaurant, and normally at nice restaurants they have fresh mint for fresh mint tea afterwards, but they actually only gosh, the wormholes, rabbit holes that I go down. They only had dried mint tea, and actually it was really strong and I was quite surprised. So I'm gonna make some of my own dried mint that I can then store for mint tea throughout autumn and winter. Tomorrow morning, or maybe even this afternoon later on, going to go for a walk and get some more elderberries, so we'll try that out. But things can take a couple of hours to dehydrate, so I thought we would start with mint, and that's going to be hopefully nice and easy. Before I do that though, I want to also show you something else that I got. These are the seasonal bundt tins that I've been looking for. Found them online, and this one has got pumpkins and wheat as a little pattern in it, so I'm thinking when I do a nice spiced pumpkin loaf, that's going to be perfect. And sometimes you just want a little nibble, like a little bite. I might try later on today, depending on how much of the kitchen Charlie takes over for the roast. I saw one of you guys actually sent me on Instagram Martha Stewart's courgette cake recipe, and I do know that there are a couple of courgettes just waiting to be picked down in the kitchen garden, so maybe I'll do some little courgette, they're kind of little muffins, acorns, pumpkins and leaves. That kind of looks like a tomato as well. Yeah, so just a really sweet little mini muffin tin. Anyway, without further ado, let's head into the garden and pick some herbs to try using with the dehydrator. Before we head out, a brief moment for the outfit of the day. Charlie just told me this is called a Canadian tuxedo when you do double denim. Sundays are my day to just get a little bit experimental. I don't know if I can pull this off, but I love the blouse, I love the detail, the little embroidered bits here, and the collar gives it that bit of femininity that sometimes I felt that wasn't the case with a double denim outfit. And then these jeans, hey bunny, you're so sweet. These jeans are just the perfect kind of width and length. They're cropped down at the ankles, and just for pottering around I have got a pair of 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 barefoots on. These are really nice actually. They don't actually have the style name written on them, but they're a really nice kind of pinky colour, and the laces are a bit elasticy, so I just kind of slip them on and off when I'm going in and out of the house on days like today. So it's kind of like a slipper that's a little bit more, yes, a little bit more outside appropriate. So that is the outfit of the day. Okay, I just thought I would start by grabbing these courgettes, because sometimes if you leave them even a few hours on a day like today when it's rainy, you come back and they're twice the size. Honestly, nothing grows like courgettes in this garden. So that, I feel, is the perfect size to get snipped. I'll leave the other one a little bit longer. Most of these leaves are pumpkin leaves. We're gonna have quite a lot of pumpkins this year. Yay. I just spotted another one in here. This is a good size. Boop. Someone tagged me in an Instagram story this morning where someone was using a squash leaf stem as a horn, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm desperate to try it out to see if it works. So let's take a leaf. I'll snip the bottom off. I feel like this could prickle my lips because they're kind of spiky. What? Okay, that's definitely not working. Hers was almost shaped like an Alp horn. It had like a flick at the bottom, so maybe I need a better shaped one. No! I have no idea how she did it. This is making me look silly. Okay, I've got a basket full of mint. I will give it a little rinse off in the sink before we dehydrate it, pat it dry. If any of you guys love mint tea, I would so highly recommend growing mint at home. You just need a big pot, as big as you have space for, and then buy one mint plant, ideally a nice organic one from a garden centre, and plant it in a big pot, and before you know it, that pot will just become your mint pot. The mint will take over. It grows so well, so easily. Don't put it in the ground or in a raised bed because it will take over whatever container you put it in, but it grows so quickly and so plentifully. So if you are a fan of mint in your recipes or mint tea, then it's definitely something you should try growing from home. We've got two different varieties here, a normal kind of Moroccan mint and a peppermint. I'm just going to mix them all together because I'm not too fussy with my mint tea. So yeah, let's give this a try. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the lower leaves. I have just given them a rinse, and then pinching off the top leaves as well. So we're basically just getting rid of the stalks, and I'm then going to soak these. I did just watch a couple of TikToks to find out a few different remedies, or methods I should say, but I'm sure that some of you guys watching this have done this before, so if you have any dehydrating tips or things that I really have got to try in the dehydrator, please let me know. I just love doing things like this. I find it so therapeutic, but also just really satisfying using things up and knowing that I'm going to have things in the cupboard that are straight from my garden. I don't need to buy mint or mint tea throughout autumn, winter. So yeah, a nice Sunday afternoon relaxing task. Any leaves that have got marks on them, I'm just taking those out. Okay, the mint leaves have all been plucked, and now I'm just letting them soak in cold water for 10 minutes. According to one of the TikToks that I saw, it seems silly to technically hydrate them before we dehydrate them, but I guess this is just to make sure they're nice and clean. Okay, so while the leaves are soaking just for 10 minutes, I'm going to show you a few other kind of home bits that I've purchased lately that are going to really help me with my mission of food storage and preservation throughout the coming months. As I mentioned a couple of vlogs ago, I really want to get better at batch cooking, and I do, as does Charlie, always tend to cook that little bit too much. So there's always a container in our fridge or freezer with food that we're saving. So I did get my dehydrator from 𝑭𝒊𝒅, and 𝑭𝒊𝒅 have got the most amazing selection of home things. As you're watching this until the 15th, they've got a mega bank holiday sale on. So I made the most of it and got loads of things, replacing the old and stocking myself up, ready to have a very efficient autumn and winter in the kitchen. So as well as getting a really good deal on the dehydrator, let me show you a few of the other things that I've got. I would definitely recommend trying their app, because the shopping experience, the product recommendations that come up on the app, I found so useful, especially if you're looking for something in particular and you want to sort by price, because they have just got such a huge selection. I love these highball glasses for making my morning smoothies. They look kind of crystally. I think they look like the kind of thing that you would have at Soho House, like a Soho Home kind of style, and they look like crystal, but they're just glass. These I think were 35% off, so I picked up 6 more of these. Over the years, we had some like this from when we lived in Clapham, and over time, like a few of them just got a bit chipped, and we needed to top up our selection, so I got a few of those. And then in the cupboard behind me, our pantry cupboard, we keep everything in these glass jars. So anything that's like a lentil or a pasta, we keep everything in the glass jars with the wooden lid. And I was thinking, with all of the things that I'm going to be making, we're going to need some more storage jars. So what I plan on doing is, once the mint leaves are dried out, I will store them in these nice aesthetic jars with the lids. One of you guys recommended a label maker to me. I think it's called a, I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll link it. I'll link the one that I end up getting down below. But these storage jars, they are airtight. They've got the little suction on them. Glass jars. I think they're really aesthetic if you're doing a full pantry makeover, and very useful for keeping air out of things like dried mint leaves or dried herbs throughout the autumn season. So I think I got 6 of those. 6 of those, 6 of the highball glasses, And something else which came recommended on Wayfair and was also a really good price in the bank holiday sale was this cutlery set. I really liked the wooden handles on it. Now we already have a full cutlery set here at the house, but my brother is in need of a new cutlery set and I thought he would really like this. It's very kind of farmhouse style, very rustic, and it was such a good price. So got the cutlery set, and then this is where the dopamine comes back, because something else that I cleared out this morning was all of our old Tupperware. We had so much Tupperware, a lot of it was plastic, and I just don't like the idea anymore of heating food up and storing food in plastic containers, so I got rid of so much Tupperware, also knowing that I'd placed this order and I've got loads more. But storage wise, Tupperware can be a nightmare, you lose lids or you don't know what lids go with what, so I wanted to get things which were stackable. So I'm thinking that these round ones are going to be really useful. So this is a set of 4 round glass storage containers, and then you've got the lids as well. Whenever I make too much pasta or cook too many carrots or make too much soup, I can store them in these in the fridge and it's not going to have any plastic leaching into the food. I can heat them up in these containers as well because they are oven proof. Really handy. And it's always useful to have some little rectangular ones as well. I loved the fact that these had a pink lid. I think this again was a set of 6, so we've just got really useful sizes. If you just can't bear the idea of food waste, then stocking up on some glass containers like this I think is such a good idea, especially as we come to the time of year where we're going to be making stews and shepherd's pies and just food like that. I feel like it always tastes better the next day or the second time you eat it. Lasagnas, oh, so yummy. So I can't wait. I don't mind anymore if Charlie cooks way too much of something, because I will just have it for my lunch the next day now that I've got my cute little containers. Also, if you take your lunch to work, then these are just a really good solution. And then these are not quite as practical because you can't put the lid in the dishwasher, but I mean that wouldn't take that much effort to wash up. Little glass food storage containers with a very chic wooden lid. How cute would that be to take in for your lunch or to store whatever needs storing? Actually, I have stored my homemade dates with the peanut butter. I'm gonna have to eat one now because they're so delicious. With the peanut butter, making my mouth water, and almond in them. These are my favorite snacks. They don't need to be kept in the fridge, but having them in an airtight container, I guess, just means that they stay fresher for longer. I just thought these were really attractive, very useful, so I picked up a set of those as well from Wayfair. So all of these things, I'll leave them in the description box down below. I also got loads of jars. If you're interested in jars, they have got a really good selection. This one I thought was adorable because it actually looks like a blackberry. I am going to go and get some more blackberries later to make a blackberry jam, and I will keep it in my blackberry shaped jar. So if you're also in your homemaker preserving era like I am, then make the most of the discounts over the next few days. As I said, I'll leave everything linked down below. You don't need any discount codes, but it's just a really great time to stock up on very useful kitchen essentials while there's a little bit of a discount. Okay, now the mint has soaked, so I'm just going to hopefully get rid of a little bit of the moisture with a tea towel and add it to the dehydrator. This is exciting. So Charlie does tend to take over the entire kitchen when he's doing a roast, so I've just brought it in here, and according to ChatGPT, it's said to do 35 to 40 degrees, which is the lowest setting that this does, for 2 to 6 hours. So it's 2:30 now, so in a couple of hours, probably when the roast potatoes are starting to get crispy in the aga, we'll come and check on it, low and slow. Oh, this is so exciting. So fingers crossed, we will have a successful first attempt at dehydrating. Please excuse the noise of the dehydrator in the background. It's not very noisy, but it is nice to be able to close it away in a room. This is somewhere I have definitely never filmed before. We are in one of the corners of our dining room, and this cupboard here used to be our alcohol cupboard Fun fact, you know we're attached to a chapel. This is actually a secret passageway, but it's blocked up and we therefore use it as storage. I'm a little bit afraid of this cupboard because I once saw a really big spider in here, and you know when you just don't ever want that to happen again. But we live in an old house, spiders come as part of that. But anyway, we've now cleared what used to be an entire cupboard of alcohol to now be like a storage cupboard. Charlie doesn't drink at all, he's 6 years sober. I barely drink anything, so to have an entire cupboard in our dining room full of alcohol just felt really silly. So we've now just got one shelf, and then here we have got things that I have already started to dry. So this is going to be my like dehydrated pantry. Here are the mint leaves that I did on the dining table while we were on holiday. That was a great way of dehydrating something, but it did take 3 weeks for them to get this dry. This is only going to take a couple of hours, so I think this is going to be a better solution. But oh, I also got these jars on Wayfair. They are so cute. I love these. I've been using these for my pumpkin syrup and my chai syrup as well, and the cork lid gives them that little bit of breathability but still airtight, if that makes sense. So my mint leaves will go in here, or if I've got too many, we'll do the bigger jars. And drying out my lavender was a great success. I'm gonna have a little look if I can do more lavender in the dehydrator, because there's more in the garden that still needs to be chopped down. I have got 3 jars absolutely full of dried lavender, and then I've got jars of rosemary and thyme as well. These are the jars that I showed you earlier, full of dried herbs, which when we don't have them in the garden will be amazing for using in casseroles and stews and Sunday roasts. This is one other container that I absolutely love that I ordered in my big Wayfair home order. Again, it's got a wooden lid, kind of like an oak lid, and then a glass base. So just a really nice food storage container. I do get excited about these things. So with the gaps in this cupboard, I'm going to fill it with the other jars and containers from my order, and then everything will have its place and it's just going to be very satisfying. Sorry, I bet you've never seen anyone quite so excited about containers before, but the last one that I want to show you, these I thought were genius. So it is a little jar, but then it's got this rubber band around it, which you can pop your spoon in. So if you're making a matcha chia seed pudding, I'm going to try doing a slightly more autumnal version this evening actually, because I love making them in summer, but I've never done an autumny one. And you can just take it to work, eat it on your commute, maybe eat it when you get to your desk, and how perfect that the spoon is just attached. Love it.
Beautiful.
Sunlight just coming from behind the church. It's been very dramatic weather today. We just finished our roast and heading out for a quick walk. I've got my trug with me. This is the best time of year for foraging. I've got some sloe berries and some blackberries. I actually am planning on making another wreath tomorrow. Hopefully I'm going to find some acorn branches and make a really big, quite wild autumnal wreath. So I'll see what I can find. Oh my gosh, that sun is amazing. Apparently tonight we might have a solar eclipse. In fact, I think in like half an hour, so I hope that we'll be able to see it. I think the moon is going in front of the sun for nearly 2 minutes, so that'll be quite cool. Good morning, my darlings. Serious question. Is it illegal to listen to Christmas songs in September? Because if it is, arrest me. I have had Christmas in the Cotswolds playlist, which is our playlist on Spotify. I'll leave it linked down below. For those of you that love Vlogmas, that playlist just brings back so many amazing memories. There's something really special about music, isn't there? That it just can instantly transport you to a different time, a different place, bring back so many memories. And I think it was in the last vlog, wasn't it, when 𝑭𝒊𝒅, which is the song that last year, 2024, we had as our Vlogmas intro song. It's actually, I think it's a 16-minute long song, and obviously we took parts of the song and edited it, added church bells, added choir music. We take our Vlogmas intro soundtrack very seriously, and that song, to me, it just gives me goosebumps. It just does something to me in a way that no other Vlogmas intro song has ever done before. So I have a really big question to ask you, because it's something that I've been really thinking about. The question is, do we use the same song again and make that our Vlogmas intro song, or do we do a different song? There is one other song which comes close, and it's actually got very similar notes in it. It's not the same composer, but it's similar. It uses, actually I'm not going to say anymore, but it's just as amazing, just as atmospheric. But there's something quite nice about having a song that's like your Vlogmas song. So I'd love to know your opinions. Should we use the same song again, or would you like to see something different? Obviously the intro will be different, the clips will be different, but what do you think about the song? Ooh, it's just so good. I don't know if I could not have it. I also love the song that we had as our outro. Gosh, Vlogmas. I think it's because there was just something magic in the air this morning, as you'll have seen from those drone clips. I just had to send the drone up this morning. There's some, maybe it's the eclipse last night, which by the way we didn't see. We got all the way to the top of the hill at Winderton and it was full cloud cover. So the eclipse happened, we just couldn't see it, which is a shame. But I guess it's always around the full moon, isn't it? There's just some magic sprinkled in the air. And today, the September magic has made me feel a bit festive. Oh! I'm not going to talk about Christmas again because it's just too much in September. But I just would love your opinion on the Vlogmas intro song. And also as a reminder to make sure you are signed up to our newsletter, because Charlie and I are hoping to, oh, how much can I say? There are two things, hopefully, that I can lock in December that you guys are going to want to be a part of. So if it's ticketed, I'm not sure the logistics, but it will be announced first within our newsletter. So that newsletter goes into your inbox every Friday morning. It's really lovely. Recipes, my pumpkin pasta alla vodka recipe will be in the next one. When are you watching this? It'll be in the one tomorrow morning. Yeah, there's just so much to look forward to. But anyway, let's not wish away the season, because, I mean, technically it's still summer. Not in my book. Not in my book. And especially not this year, because the leaves are turning brown earlier than normal because of the summer that we had. And I'm looking around me right now and it's like full autumn light. It's golden. It's just magical. It's truly magical. Anyway, I need to get to Pilates. I don't want to be late. I'm doing the 8:30 class because I wanted longer in bed. So let's get going. Hello my darlings, it's a few hours later. It's actually turned into a really nice, quite warm day, so it feels even more wrong that I was listening to Christmas music this morning. This morning we've had a couple of meetings and now I just want to make the most of an afternoon outside. Everyone is saying online that today is the last hot day of the year. hot would be an over-exaggeration. I would say it's about 21 degrees, which is lovely, but I am definitely going to use that as my excuse to get out into the garden, potter around for a couple of hours, and then laptop time can wait till tomorrow. So I thought I would show you what my outfit of the day has been so far for today's meetings before I get changed into something a little bit more casual. This is the roll neck that I got in my latest H&M order, and I've been reaching for this quite a lot. It feels like a really quite practical, very wearable piece. And then this was a favourite last autumn and in spring as well, a denim midi/mid-axi skirt from 𝑚&M, and I've actually been wearing my cute little 𝑭𝒊𝒅, my little puppy shoes. These are just so nice for wearing around the house and if you're just dashing about doing errands. So there we go. As you spotted, I did do a little bit of foraging on the way home. I picked some more elderberries, and I do plan finally on making my immunity elixir later on, and also some blackberry jam. But for now, let's make the most of the sunshine and head out into the garden. Just call me the neighbourhood binfluencer. It's green bin day, so I have done a massive clear of things which have finished flowering in the kitchen garden, including sweet peas, some of our 𝑭𝒊𝒅, can't remember what they're called. And also I'm going to do a little bit more hacking down of the lavender. It's a good time to trim your lavender if you want to get lovely healthy blooms next year. And I'm going to make a few more of the little scented bags that you can put in your cars or in your wardrobe. It's a really nice thing to do if you have got lavender at home that you're going to be harvesting anyway, because I don't like anything to go to waste. To me it feels like sacrilege throwing away beautiful smelly lavender flowers. I'm just going to sit here in the sunshine for 20 minutes putting together a few more of these lovely little smelly bags. And if your car inside gets really warm, then it enhances the fragrance even more. So it's really nice on days like this. You open your car door and the whole car smells like lavender, but without any artificial fragrances. This time of year is that the weather is so changeable so quickly. Suddenly there's now big black clouds everywhere. So come inside and we need to put my now very dry, perfectly dry mint in the container. This has worked so well. So I think yesterday I had it on 35 degrees for about 4 hours, and then today I felt it and I thought it could be zapped a little bit more, so I did about 45 degrees for an hour, and now the mint leaves are perfectly dried out. Yay. So I'm just popping them all in my little jar, and because there's no moisture they won't get moldy or anything, so this is perfect for, would you still call it fresh mint tea? I guess it's dried mint tea, and this will literally last me for months, which is perfect. Okay, dried mint, great success. Now the next thing that I've had on my wish list of things to make in the kitchen for a little while, but for some reason I've kept putting it off, is a chocolate courgette cake or a chocolate zucchini cake. Obviously we have still got so many courgettes growing in the garden, and at this point in the year you just want to get a little bit creative because you've had so many different courgette recipes. So I thought in a chocolate cake with my new little pumpkin tray would be amazing. So I've got 350 grams of flour and 50 grams of cocoa. Now what I'm actually using is, I hope this will be okay, the cacao and reishi from Ancient and Brave. I feel like this is just going to make it even healthier, full of adaptogenic mushrooms. And I'm adding in, it's going to be a pumpkin spice courgette cake with reishi mushroom. My bakes are always a little bit weird, but wonderful. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. And then we'll do the wet ingredients in another bowl. Okay, for the dry ingredients, it needs 175 ml of extra virgin olive oil. It feels not right using such a lovely olive oil in a cake, but we only have nice olive oil in the house. This is the one from Flamingo Estate. There we go, 175 ml of olive oil. And in here already, I've got 375 grams of sugar, which is a lot, but this is going to be balanced out with the healthiness of the courgette. Now this recipe that I'm following calls for 500 milliliters of grated courgette, and you don't normally measure courgette in milliliters, but I guess it's kind of our version of the US cup system, so I guess that would be maybe like 2 cups of grated courgette. So I've just taken the end off, and I think it'll probably be about half of this courgette. I feel like this recipe, even though it's BBC Good Food, like it's not giving me quite the information that I need. Do I compress it down? Do I squeeze out the moisture? It hasn't told me to do either of those things. So 500 ml, I guess this is 500 ml of grated courgette. We're sticking that in. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence and 3 eggs. So next we are going to be mixing the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients, and I am the new proud owner of a hand blender or a hand mixer. I've never had one of these before, but I've seen so many people using them on like short Instagram or TikTok baking recipes. You will have actually seen me using this already with this attachment, which is the hand blender. Amazing. Did you hear that thunder? Ooh, it's gonna be stormy. Yeah, amazing for blending soups, I guess smoothies as well, but when you do a soup in a big saucepan, you can just, you know, put the blender in and you don't have to transfer it to a blender, less things to wash up. It's gonna be torrential. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh my gosh, it's so changeable at the moment. But this is from 𝑠meg. I also got this on Wayfair and it was 20% off, so I treated myself. It's quite a chic little hand blender and hand whisk. So if you don't have a big KitchenAid or anything like that, or you just don't have the space or don't want a big KitchenAid or Thermomix, then this is amazing because it's got variable different speeds. It comes with loads of different accessories. You can do your smoothies, your soups, your cakes, whatever you need. So let's mix the wet with the dry, blend everything together, or I've got to stop saying blend, mix everything together. There is a bug on my forehead. And then we'll transfer everything into my pumpkin shaped cake tin. Mixed success with the little mini courgette cakes, because obviously a courgette cake batter is quite textured, so probably not the best thing to put in intricate molds. So the shape is a bit funny, but they taste amazing. And what I've also done, a flat courgette cake as well, and my intention is to do the TikTok pumpkin loaf thing with this, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. Also used the rest of the courgette and added it to my egg mix, and as soon as I can find the muffin tin tray, which I cannot find, I will do my little egg breakfast muffins as well. So lots of different activities. I've also picked the berries off my elderberries, so I was going to do the elderberry elixir this afternoon as well, but it's 6 o'clock and suddenly I'm just really tired. Haven't done anything strenuous today, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow as well. But yeah, for this vlog, I am going to bid you good night. Thank you so much for watching. I have got a very exciting day in London coming up in the next vlog and other lovely wholesome things. So thank you so much for watching. Check if you're subscribed. Please do hit the subscribe button if you're not already. And give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.